If you're looking for another quick and easy recipe, then look no further, because tonight I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, quick and easy ground beef cheesy mac and cheese pasta. You heard me correct. Let's get to cooking. You realize I brought out the Dutch oven tonight, right? However, if you have a heavy duty skillet, you could definitely rock out with your heavy duty skillet as well. Nevertheless, the other pot is being occupied. That's why I was like, let me just use this pot. I didn't feel like rinsing out the other pan. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, to this hot pan, we are going to start off with adding our ground. You know what? Let's add some oil first. That will make a lot of sense, considering the ground beef that I'm going to be using has a very minimal fat content. All right, let's get this cooked up. Let's swap out our ground meat chopper for a spatula. Bring that on in. All right, boom. All right, we're gonna get ready to introduce our onions to this mix. Gonna add just a little bit more oil because I wanna saute our onions. All right, these are, I think is it regular? No, they're Vidalia onions. It's either Vidalia or regular yellow onions. But I say that to say, whatever onions you want to use, feel free to utilize that type of onion. However, if you want to use shallots, you could definitely use shallots as well. It's not going to spoil the recipe. In fact, it's going to be complimentary regardless. You're going to allow these onions to saute and sweat out just a little bit more. Add our finely chopped garlic. Onions are looking and smelling great. Let's incorporate everything. Mix it on in really, really good. Let's give our ground beef some aromatic flavor. Time to season with the dry seasonings. All right, we're gonna go in with some salt and ground black pepper. Be careful with the salt and, well, not the ground black pepper, but be careful with the salt. You don't wanna add too much. We're gonna add some smoked paprika for a nice smoky element of flavor. Gonna add some of my all-purpose cooking with Tammy seasoning, low in sodium, so I'm gonna overindulge just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add some of my no sodium Cajun seasoning. Finish up the bottle. Why not? That's about 1 to 2 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning. Feel free to visit cookingwithtammy.shop for your seasonings. If you want to purchase the Cajun and all-purpose chicken seasoning, you can definitely buy those separately. However, I have a flash sale going on. If you buy 3 or more seasonings, you get a discount, not to mention discounts on the bundles as well. If you buy the deluxe bundle, you'll be able to get the Cajun and the all-purpose chicken seasoning, along with 4 other seasonings. Pretty good deal, if I might say so myself. I'm gonna add some red bell peppers for flavor and color, along with our green bell peppers. Let's incorporate those veggies. By the time we're finished seasoning and cooking this ground beef recipe down, trust me, for all of those picky eaters out there, you're not going to be able to taste any of the vegetables. So add as many veggies as possible. We're going to cook our veggies down until they sweat out just a bit. We want our bell peppers, of course, to become slightly softened and translucent. Gonna allow the veggies to saute for about a minute or 2. Because we want to boost up the flavors a little bit more, we're gonna add some of our beef bouillon powder. You don't have to add that if you don't want to. And we're gonna incorporate that into the ground beef mixture as well. Add a can of tomatoes and chilies. Stir that on up. The good thing about the can of tomato and chilies, depending on the brand that you're going to be using, there's different heat profiles, whether it be mild, hot, or medium. So you get to choose that part. If you don't want anything to do with the heat, a regular can of tomatoes would do just fine. Or guess what? If you have fresh tomatoes at home, dice them up and add it to the mix and you'll be good to go. We're going to add some beef broth. If you don't have any beef broth in hand, then you can get, I want to say a couple teaspoons of bouillon powder, add some water to it, combine it really well, and that would substitute for your beef broth. However, when it comes down to the bouillon powder, Bouillon itself is very high in sodium, so you want to be careful. You don't want to add too much bouillon. You want to add majority water to a little bit of bouillon, if that makes sense, all right? Not equal parts. Because this is going to be a one-pot dinner, we're going to add our pasta. When adding your pasta, you want to add any preferred pasta. If your favorite pasta is, let's say, maybe penne pasta, or even rigatoni, or gemelli pasta, doesn't matter. You could definitely add whatever pasta. It's not going to change up the dynamic of the deliciousness of your ground beef mixture, okay? Your mac and cheese is still going to be tasty. What I am going to do, since this is a large size skillet, we are going to add some more broth, considering we added the whole box of pasta. However, when it comes down to the cooking time for the pasta, you're going to refer to the back of the box. I'm going to cook this pasta a little bit past al dente. It's just a preference thing when it comes to making certain dishes. And yeah, for now, we're going to cover it down, right? We're going to allow it to cook. And then once we're done, we're going to jazz it up even more because we're going to add some more ingredients. After about 20 minutes, hey, looking great so far. Now here's the thing, we want to jazz this up, jazz it up some more. And we want it to have a nice creamy texture and flavor. So we're going to go in with some Philadelphia cream cheese. And we're going to stir it on up. Allow it to break down into the pasta. Fold it on in. If you don't have any cream cheese on hand, feel free to use sour cream. The flavor profile might be slightly different, but it's not gonna change it up too much. All right, this is good so far. Nice and creamy. Yes. Let's add some cheddar cheese. I'm not gonna put this in the oven, however. If you want to place this beefy mac and cheese into the oven, you definitely can. But I'm just going more for a nice, cheesy, creamy, textured mac and cheese. Incorporate the grated cheeses into the pasta. Now here's the thing, my loves. If you have, let's say, the bagged cheese on hand, you could definitely use that. However, if you could get your hands on the fresh cheese and you could grate it on up, that's even better. Simply because if you use the other cheese that comes in a bag, it's packed with or filled with anti-caking agents. So therefore, when it comes down to getting that nice, creamy, luscious texture, better yet, like the flavor it's a little different, you know what I mean? Behind the scenes, guess what we did? We went ahead and fried up some andouille sausages. Yes, we did. All right, we're gonna add the sausages to the mix, of course. All right, that's it. Tell me what you think so far. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. I'm gonna use the same plate that I had the grated cheese on. Not a problem. Ooh wee. Now this is beauty. Here's the thing, all right? If you want to omit something from the ingredient list that I use, you definitely can omit it. Basically, just add whatever works out for you. You know what I'm saying? If you like, let's say maybe a Mexican blend of cheeses, then you can definitely use a Mexican blend of cheese. You don't have to stick with the cheddar cheese. It's totally up to you. Make it customary according to what you prefer. And I can guarantee it's still going to come out really delicious. This is good. This is good. Comfort food, to say the least. Everybody's gonna love this dish. Every single person is gonna love this dish. Picky eaters and greedy people alike, okay? I'm one of those greedy people. Listen, this is absolutely delicious, not to mention nice and creamy. And it's just really delicious on the palate. Not to mention we have our little hint of, go ahead and turn the stovetop off. I saw the little bubbles going on. I'm like, wait a minute. Not to mention we have our rotel that we added, giving that little element of spice. We have our incorporated veggies in there for those of us who don't get enough veggies. You know what I'm saying? Cool way to hide and incorporate the veggies. And that's about it, my loves. Everything else came out perfectly delicious. Everything perfectly complimentary. The other thing is, right, if you don't want to use, like, let's say the pork andouille sausage, I know for a fact in my local grocery store, because we have a lot of grocery stores, I saw chicken andouille. I don't know if you guys have tried that out, but the chicken andouille is really good as well. I plan on doing a recipe with that, so stay tuned for that. And that's about it. Seasonings, cookingwithtammy.shop. I have a flash sale going on, 3 or more seasonings. You get a discount, not to mention the bundle seasonings. You get an even bigger discount. As always, I'm your girl Cooking with Tammy, and I will definitely catch you guys in another video. Don't forget to give this recipe a try and let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comment section, and I will definitely talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.